And hey, it is 10 o'clock Monday morning on the East Coast because we're all on the East Coast this morning. Boogie with the Bull, uncensored Monday morning caffeine. Grab your favorite caffeinated beverage and your favorite caffeinated morning vessel. Thanks, Scott Adams from the Scott Adams broadcast for doing that. I don't even know if Scott is still doing his broadcast, but you can still watch them. And it was a morning coffee broadcast, and he had a big, huge white cup of coffee that he always made sure that's how the broadcast started. And even when he got stressed on the broadcast, he would grab the cup and he would take a swig of the cup, and it would bring him back down to earth. With us this morning is Randy Rhodes, my co-host, partner in crime. Our roads lead to Randy Rhodes, as I say, and I don't mean to joke. It's just our roads lead to Randy Rhodes because I can't always remember the names of broadcasts. But one of the broadcasts is themed to bringing you to your ancestors, and the other one is just all roads lead to Randy Rhodes' genealogy, and we'll talk about that a little later in the broadcast. With us this morning is Michael Anthony, who took some time out of his busy day. It sounds like he is doing some construction work up at his camp in which is somewhere in Pennsylvania. I've never been there. I've only seen pictures of it, and it looks like it is a beautiful place to be. So good morning. Where did Michael go? Did we lose Michael? Are you back, Michael? Are you here, Michael?
I'm here.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Actually, you sound even better. But so Michael, as well, is taking time, like I said, from doing some work on his camp, which I know is somewhere in Pennsylvania. I do know that we all do know that he lives in Pennsylvania. Randy is in Lancaster County, and I'm here on the northern end of Florida. So, gentlemen, what is new and exciting in this world? Oh, Michael, we lost Michael. Michael is back. And it's not Michael's, it's not on Michael, it's on me. And let me see if we can bring him back in. There, Michael's back with us. What is new and exciting?
Depends who you're asking.
I'm asking either one of you because I'm sure you both have a different view on what is new and exciting. And as everyone knows, I don't always come prepared to a broadcast other than to moderate the broadcast, do live sharing and all that stuff. So I know that, Michael, you had a broadcast on Saturday evening, I believe, and I watched part of it, or I'm thinking I watched part of it. And Randy did Sundays, and I'm usually in bed sleeping, so I apologize to that. So, Michael, why don't you tell me from your point of view what is new and exciting?
New and exciting. Well, what has changed? Not much of anything. We all have different viewpoints. We all bring up different credible thoughts of information. I think we're still heading in that direction. We're seeing things. We're seeing where the strength really is. I posted some of that evidence right online. Surprisingly, they left it there. But we see where the crowds are, what they're attending, who they're supporting. That's positive. And I think that we just need to stay firm in our shoes and planted to the ground, stay grounded, and concentrate on the best way of how we can protect the outcome of what we know we've already successfully won twice before. But I think the biggest thing is how to protect it. So the truth is transparent. When you look at a state like where I'm at in Pennsylvania, and you see the overwhelming warmth, love, and compassion towards Donald Trump and all the work that he did, that's the strength. That's what the people want, a sense of normalcy and a different kind of vibration that we need in this world to bring us together And it's going to be hard, again, for whoever the victor is. And I would still stay strong in my belief it will be Donald Trump as long as we protect the integrity. But it's going to be a really hard challenge for him because even in his own words, he doesn't want to leave anybody out of his plan. Where democracy stands on a different element and they create a divide, and their only concern is to take care of their own, not us as people, as a service to humanity. They forgot that they are servants of humanity and we put them in place. And of course, the examples that they led this administration with for the past 4 years is an example of it. When we see the things like they've been there for 4 years and now they're promoting, they're going to fix it. It's I'm not going to ever buy into that. And I don't think anybody's logic ever will. So I'll just start with it like that and let you guys carry on.
I'm seeing pictures of Kamala Harris events, and I want to say, look like they have to be either everybody there was paid to be there, which is the only reason that they're there, or they're doctored pictures, or maybe she has convinced all these people to be there. And you want to take a stab at which one it is, or you just want to leave me alone and let me continue to do the research? What do you think?
If you're still asking me, I would say if you reflect back on who was taken care of when the administration came in, who got government bonuses, who got pay increases, and so forth. They already bought and paid for these people. They knew they would need them in the future as much as they needed the border crossers. That's why we've seen certain people get protections. We've seen the post office be exempt from a COVID vaccination. We see where they attack people. We've seen Fauci scream to America that if you want to go to this college, you will have to be vaccinated. I mean, look, it's pretty easy to tell by what we've learned over the past 4 years of who and what democracy stands for. And it will be only within their own party. And that's who you saw. As limited as it was and as limited as her crowds were, that's exactly what you saw. Very poor outcomes because people are not going down with this. Even though they may have accepted things, people, even on their own side, are not on their side. But we will have rhinos, and the DNC is announcing in ways now that there is Republican support for Harris. Well, again, if you can create disinformation and contaminate the pool of information, you will then make people look at all the oppositions of what's going on, and some could fall weak into that platform. We are not three people that are weak. We may not be also not be people that get along all the time. But the case that I think is important is we know the focus and we have not lost focus and we continue on. And again, it's a do or die situation when you consider what we're up against and what can happen into the future. I'm not down with the future. I'm not down with the policies of their future. I'm not down with the technology. When I said and told everybody, don't invest in the cryptocurrency, I didn't say it because I was trying to just evade something that was good. It is good, but it has bad consequences, just like AI technology. And when I told everybody, if you want to make money in the next 4 years, invest into AI and it will supersede everything else out there. And it did. It smashed and the stocks doubled and tripled and, people made money. But the fear behind that and this world that we're in of what we've seen in development, the new world of normalcy is something that everybody should fear. Not just because the jobs being lost and things being taken from us, but the examples of what we've witnessed of the devastation of fires and floods and so much more, tornadoes, and we're being compromised and we're being used, and it's part of a mind control system. It's not just a war that contains psyops; it's a war of many different levels. And that does leave people in a state of confusion. And that's what they want, fear, confusion. And because we are in position, our word is more important. Our word is factually true. And it's not. And I think people are aware. And I'm really happy to know that they are. But it's going to be a tough thing to get to the finish line and for us to finish on top. Again, it's security, transparency, and safety and integrity. So
Okay.
that's kind of how I feel on it.
All right. Hang on for just a second. Let's give Randy Rhodes a chance to speak his opening this morning.
Well, I think I'm going to throw a spin to everything you guys are talking about. I'm not sure if my friends were watching one of the shows, William Rayfield's show the other day when he challenged my belief in God and pissed me off to where I had to jump off the show. But my friends, my wife's friends primarily, they are very big, strong churchgoers. And since I've been disabled and can't drive legally, we've, have not been inside of a church building in, God, 7, 8 years now. And I'm not saying that my faith has gone away. Challenged, absolutely. So they paid us a surprise. Hey, we're here. Just happened to be in the neighborhood. Thought we'd stop by. Got some gifts for you. Here, Claudette, I got this really pretty blah, blah, blah. And here, Randy, I got this for you to read. All right. Her new husband, who, by the way, happens to look absolutely identical to her previous husband. I swear to God, belongs to the Watchman. Have you guys ever heard of the Watchman?
Isn't the Watchman one of the Mormon church papers they leave on your doorstep? I'm sorry I cut you off, Michael. Go ahead.
I've heard that mentioned in several different subject matters. So I'll just say I don't know which one you're referring to.
So her new husband has written up like a 7-page end of the world kind of document. Okay. And he indicates, his sources, of which one happens to be the Watchman. And he goes through the Bible, the Revelation, the time frame, blah, 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 blah. But it boils down to we don't have to worry about the November election because we're not going to be here. According to the Watchman, on October 22nd of this year, the rapture is going to take place, and all those who believe in God are going to be raptured. Okay? Friday, October 11th, sunset to Saturday, October 12th at nightfall. Again, I can say with certainty the rapture will happen on or before October 11th, 2024, before the tribulation begins. So these watchmen, and I think you're correct, Dave, with the Mormons. I have to do a little bit more digging into that part. But he was very adamant, so was she. She's very proud of her husband and the resources that he did and this report that he did. And they were essentially doing the same thing that William was doing, was challenging, my belief. And I was simply saying to them as well as to William that, first off, we're not supposed to know when and where it's supposed to happen, okay? But I was saying, to them as well as to William that, with everything that's going on in today's world, and I'm not going to go through, you guys know the list. It's enormous of all the atrocities that our world's going through. What is it going to take for God to come back and say, enough is enough? I'm going to end this and I'm going to start over from scratch. And that's where my faith is challenged. What's it going to take when you see all the atrocities against the women and children across the world? Not to mention, the Bible talks about wars, rumors of wars, the weather conditions, the weather going to change, it's going to be bad with earthquakes, there's going to be tornadoes, that sort of thing. Okay, so and that's what he was trying to say to me here in my house. And he said that, he said, "That's right, Randy. So you do know?" I said, "Of course I." And I actually got upset. I said, "You're sitting here in my house challenging my faith." Okay, I know about this. I know about that. Yes. Oh, you're aware of that, man? Yes, I know about that. Oh, you know that. But it boils down to, I don't side with people, humans, who can say on this date, this time, the rapture is going to take place, because the Bible is very specific. Says you will not know the time or day when I will return. November, don't worry about the elections. We're not going to be here.
Okay, let me just jump to Michael for a moment. Michael, your comments, because I kind of agree with Randy. We don't know when and where it will happen, and why hasn't God ended it? And what do you have to say?
Well, I mean, you pulling religion into it is not something I like to strongly do.
Okay,
but no, don't you? It's all right. Aren't we faced with challenges of beliefs every day?
Yes.
Have we not been used within the commonality of different nefarious reasons to be manipulated and guided through different suggestions of narratives, the Ten Commandments to control us? The things that we believe in are just as harsh as the things that we want to talk about, us being able to have our own freedom. Without freedoms and the right to choose, of course, is where we stand. In a bad position of what we see. But the integrity of religion can be good if that is how you have your mindset set by what you were taught, what you were conditioned with. And I'm not saying that they're not real. Everybody's family had a different value, a different delivery, a different sense of prayer and practice, and again, that's where diversity comes in. Science is affecting what religion stands for. When we talk about weather, it's just not the phenomena that they've created a weapon machine. We are also dealing with what we believe and what we understand is the light of all, the resource, the part of the biggest energy factor of resources that one can have, like the sun. And when it spews off these projectiles, it also disrupts us. So, we have a lot of things trying to cover and touch a lot of bases that what Randy was talking about. But as far as, the revelation, I would say this, have we not already come to many calendars that have failed us of the day of doom, that things would occur? But I think what we're also looking at, it will be of a possibility of that great reset. And that great reset might be just what Randy's referring to, that we won't know, but will happen. And it won't be with our choice. But we put our trust into faith and betterments with hope that if this happens, that, we will be granted leniency and forgiveness, and all the things we were put here to have will be restored. But I don't actually see it like that, because I don't see the devil's hand working that way when we see the nefarious actions that come from the Democratic Party and the evilness that's in the world. However, it needs to stop somewhere. And if it can't be God, and we've always been in this war since the beginning of time, when you look into the history of civilizations and catastrophic ongoings that have never stopped, then people have to stand up to be that one cure, that only cure. And it's going to be a tough position that the president's going to have to face going into 2024 for sure. But on the religion end, again, I think everybody should, trust in their faith. Not me, not my words, not what any of us really say here. This is just a discussion, a conversation, and we're not trying to invade anybody's beliefs. And I never will, because honestly, your beliefs is part of the system that energizes me to do what I do every day. Don't stop doing it. Just stay strong and pray.
The interesting thing is that one of the advantages that I had with my dual monitors is being able to see the news when we're on the show and be able to scroll through to see what is interesting enough to talk about. And Ukraine is their military is on the forefront of taking back territory and actually seizing territory from Russia and so forth. And the reason why the commander in charge said the reason why they're having this big push is our November elections, because Trump has made it quite clear that if he's in the office, he's going to bring this war to an end according to his desire, not Ukraine or not Russia. And Ukraine is afraid that should he take office, he's going to cut off the supply of money and weapons to them. So they're trying to get themselves into a good position so that should Trump bring this all to an end, and he starts sorting out who has what territory, that they have a bigger piece of the pie. But at the same token, I saw where Putin is getting really slammed. I guess he's taking some really big hits on the battlefield and is pushing him more towards, pushing that nuke button. And that's something he has to decide before the November election. So either way, we're either going to be not here October 22nd, or we're going to be nuked come November. So I don't think we need to worry about where our vote's going to go, but be more concerned about food, water, warm blankets, and a hole in the ground to hide in when the shit hits the fan.
Michael?
I think you ought to be worried about that now, not tomorrow, not the 22nd, because we've already been shown and tested on how they were going to handle whatever move they want to make. And they will come after their own people of this country. And that's what the little riddles of preparation.
Ready?
Woman speaks now.
There's some noise. I didn't hear what he said.
Michael, are you back with us?
I didn't go anywhere that I was aware of.
Okay.
There's some noise. I wanted to respond to what you're saying, but there's some noise. I didn't quite catch all your words.
Well, you're going to have to replay it back because I don't know what you missed, and I'm not trying to be ignorant. I don't know from where.
I talk and I don't listen to myself.
Yeah, I don't listen to myself either. But I mean,
did you guys catch my Sunday broadcast?
No, I didn't, and I'll tell you why. I'm just focused in a different scenario of what I do. You're doing what you do. That's wonderful. There's times I stop in for a minute, and I try to get the gist of what you're doing, what your commentary is. But like you can't watch me all the time. I get that, and I know that.
No, I would love to, because I use your shows and Dave's show and William's show as background noise while I'm sitting here doing my genealogy. So I got the one screen, half a screen of you guys doing your thing, and I got the other screen and a half, doing my thing. So I watch you guys, I listen to you guys, I respond to you guys, and when I can't find your videos, Michael, I go into this withdrawal of almost like a drug withdrawal, and I can't find Michael. Where's Michael at?
Okay, quit whining. Here's the thing. I can only apologize for not being able to be everywhere at one time, but like you brought up on the show the other night when you were so kind to create a stream because of the catastrophic failure that Dave was going through with his laptop, Chromebook. You asked me a question. How do you do all this? This is why I can't do all of this. I
Right.
try. And when you tell me you sit there at times on shows and you collect data and points, do you research them before you talk about them? That's where
absolutely.
no wait. That's so you can deep dive beyond the fact of the news. All right. Well, I'll bring up something to you now where Ukraine, Zelensky already sent word in case the Trump administration enters that he is willing to cooperate
Yes.
with the new administration to stopping the war.
Yeah.
So whether they are getting put in position or they are not, if Putin was under any kind of threat, he wouldn't have his name, 300 ships in the Navy out doing something else. They would be in that place of position. So I think there's no worry there. I think it's another disinformation. These people have blown up their own buildings. They blown up their own communities. They wanted to make Putin look like the villain when he wasn't.
They set fire to the nuclear plant.
But does Zelensky hope?
Yes, without a doubt, on the nuclear plant, the same as the pipeline.
Yes.
Right, but Michael, Michael, does Zelensky hope that Trump is stupid like Biden and is just going to keep shoveling pallets and planes full of money, not understanding that? I don't think, and I could be wrong because I'm Dave Blow, I'm not Donald Trump, that Zelensky is going to find out under a Trump administration the gravy train is going to stop. Yes, maybe some money for humanitarian aid and to help rebuild. But if Trump finds out that, like you and Randy just said, that Zelensky blew up his own country, firebombed nuclear power plants in Ukraine, firebombed this, did that, Trump is very likely to say, no, you blew it all up, you destroyed it. Your people should take you to Randy's the justice tree and elect a new leader and go on from there. Go ahead, Michael.
What part to go from? Well, no, I think what Zelensky is really thinking in his own mind when he's not being dictated a policy to carry out with is the capability of what the president can do when he comes into power. And we've seen what Trump's capable of with the example he set on ISIS. So if you think that the fly on the wall cannot be a fly bullet, it can be that, just that. And I think his fear will be fearing for his life because it will come from nowhere. It will happen out of nowhere and he will be gone from here. And that is the most important part of why you see the arrogance at times that President Trump uses. They say he's rude, he's ruthless, he's ignorant. No, he wants to show credibility to everybody. If you cross the line on the United States, there will be a consequences, and people will pay the consequences. He's gone over that. He kept us out of wars. He kept peace in the world. We had a better place in harmony, and everybody was getting along. People were moving up for whatever their beliefs were, and he was allowing it. He was supporting Black community colleges. He was giving back to areas of people that were deprived and doing the best that he could, that there was equal fairness between it all, as well as his paychecks being taken by him and being dispersed through his administration and suggestion of his administrations of who needed the most help. So, when it comes down to the guy, he's the best thing going. There's not a dot in my mind, and we have nothing else. We have no way to turn around and with the second great hope that may or may not be able to do the same type of job. So I think swinging back, we'll use Peppermint Patty's circle back system. Zelensky's going to be in fear for his life more than anything. But right now, he's also in fear if he doesn't comply to the rich, to the money, to the State Street Vanguard and BlackRock and organizations such as this, the tribunal system, the places where the darkest meetings on earth take place, from the Bilderbergers that are narrating these subject matters, then, it's a whole different system. And he knows he can't go against either one. He's been used, abused, and now he's going to be on a pedestal where at any time, anything he does, he will be subject to his next breath not to come.
Are they already there in Ukraine? The BlackRock, Bilderberg,
they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Look at even our toll systems in America. Makita, DeWalt, Stanley. I mean, who owns everything of what the infrastructure of America is, and not just the infrastructure that builds it, they own the tolls that build it. You get it? Yep. They own the tolls of the government as well. It's not one thing. It's everything.
Yep. All right. Randy?
A strange thought came to me hearing everything that Michael was saying. And this is going to come across as being weird. But to do a tag along with what I said about my wife's husband and his report on the October 22nd, we look at President Trump. He survived the assassination attempt. And as we know, there were a couple others that were not as much publicized. He survived all of the legal shenanigans of the left. Do we think that he could be the next coming? Not necessarily in the form of Jesus Christ, but not in the form of the Antichrist, but, he has done everything that, he's brought peace to the world. He's brought prosperity to the world. I mean, the only thing he hasn't done is, brought back the dead. And the way the religious people respond to him and pray over him and so forth, could this man be the man that God is bringing into control to bring about, the second coming of Christ? Ooh, deep subject.
No, it's not really deep. Yeah, he already did bring back the dead. He relived their lives, their words, the information, the documents that were redacted. I mean, in ways, he has given them their last word. And maybe even a few others will come out of the dark and actually be of a physical being. Nothing is what we think it is. Nothing is of what it seems to be is. But again, it's up to people to try to figure that out. And people have suggested way before this statement came from you, Randy, but exactly on what you're thinking, that, he could be the one. And if he is, that is the path that will follow. And I think it will become that way because of the awareness and the fact that he came in to actually guide us through an awakening of sorts. Why and what is all behind him and who is all behind him that's helping that be narrated, we can only speculate, because there are people as powerful that I talk about who are nefarious that are just as strong on the good, but have a different way of carrying out what they believe is the most important parts of the agenda to bring humanity back into a better place and lively system, where we can live more freely and, maybe there'll be relief to senior citizens on taxes. But it's an overall very large scenario. And I don't think Donald Trump himself, with everything he goes through on a daily basis, could put together even himself some of what we've seen. He does get help. And where it comes from is the most silent part behind the green door.
Randy?
Okay. I like what you had to say. I guess we just have to kind of wait it out and see which one comes first. Um, you know, these people keep saying about how Kamala Harris's rallies and polls are showing her winning against Trump, and she already has Pennsylvania in her back pocket and stuff like that. Um, you can't trust polls, and you can't trust the media to show the true numbers at events. There's all kinds of ways of manipulating what we see and what we hear. We can only wait until the pot's cooked and it's ready to be served, because until then you can't trust anyone. You can't trust the media. You even can't trust the conservative media. Okay. Unless you're there at the rally and you can see the numbers for yourself, or you're there hearing his voice, do not trust what you see on TV. Do not trust what you read in the media. You have to hope for the best. Vote for the man that you want, or woman, and wait to the November 5th elections. But even then, you can't. I mean, you know, uh, even when November 5th comes, and if President Trump, if God allows him to survive until November the 5th, and everyone casts their vote, even then we can't trust the system. I'm sorry, I don't see Trump coming into the office. The left has far, far too much to lose, besides being placed in prison.
Well, I've said the same thing, and I agree with you there. But we have to keep a positive outlook no matter what. If you remain on the line, you'll be one of the woke. You got to find your own focus, and I would suggest that you find that. I'm not saying that you have it in ways, but I think you need to isolate some of the things that are important. And to bring up one, because you mentioned it in a way, the Antichrist. It is not an individual. It is a group. And what you are witnessing is the work of the Antichrist group, the solidarity through the Vatican and below, before anybody even knew what was hitting and what the great plans were. So when you do research and you think you're 100% sure, go back and get another 100% of the information, because what I'm telling you is a factual truth. And it takes a half a century to be able to compile a lot of the information from the early testimony of people and book authors and writing, because what we've come into understanding now is more of a source of a platform that was set in place for us to build upon. So we have to make sure that we're building upon the proper information as we do that. But I assure you, the Antichrist refers to a group of people, and they are the deliverance of all evil. And that's what we're witnessing. Their clique, their coup against America, that coup in America, that coup d'etat is a real factual thing. It comes with many identifications and labels. And it's infiltrated all of the systems, 3, 4, letter 5 law enforcement agencies and more. So we see how this works. We watched who took the knees. These are the Antichrist. Every one of them has accepted the example to be part of that system. I hope that makes sense to you. And when you utilize that kind of a statement, let it focus in your head that it could be bigger than a person, is all I'm suggesting to anybody, because it does represent a group, and they are nefarious, they are evil, and they have plans. And their plans are to take down America and Western society as we know it, with along, as COVID's example was, humanity.
You think monkeypox will be the new COVID, Michael?
Monkeypox has been a subject matter for 3 years that I talked about way back. Maybe it all started when Charleston, what was his name, Heston, whatever, and the monkey kissed on the Planet of the Apes. That was the breakout of the monkeypox. And I think when we hear about monkeypox like that, it's just another demeanor of persuasion. But again, understanding it and trying to figure out how Hollywood and everybody plays a part into it, it takes years of understanding it, the possibilities of what they are. I've come to no real conclusion on it, but I think his name was Charles Heston or Hetton, something Heston. He was a very famous actor.
Oh, yeah, Charles Heston. Yeah, he played in the Planet of the Apes.
Correct. And it was The Kiss. That was called The Outbreak. They didn't want him to go to see what was on the other side. It was the same as the Antarctic. That wall, that barrier ice wall, where lands beyond it have the answers and existence of other things. That's why you have the flat Earth theorist and all the firmament, the existence of things that we cannot actually penetrate, that are impenetrable. But whatever we are living in, whether it's a matrix, whatever, it is a compliance of guidance. There's a guidance. Now, you can comply to it, you can try to understand it, or you can try to just get along with it, to do research, to understand more of it, because the complications of everything is bigger than all of us.
Yeah, I remember the Planet of the Apes, and they've gotten several since then. There's some playing on TV now about how the entire planet now is run by apes, and they can talk and so forth, and the humans are the ones who can't talk and communicate like that. And it's been a role reversal of humanity to the beast. It's a very good movie. I enjoyed it, but. I don't know what to make of what's going on in our world. I was hoping that, when I'm 65, God Almighty, and I'm hoping I have at least another 20 years in me. So that's why I don't do anything foolish like run around the block or jumping jacks or I take it easy. My desk is my portal to the world, but. Our grandkids are the ones we have to be concerned about. What are they going to be living in? How are they going to be living? And it's up to the parents of those children to prepare them. And right now, all the children see is having fun. Video games, fast cars, fast women, the whole 9 yards, and they're not realizing that where does this spark plug ignition from World War III with nukes, I heard this my wife's friend when he was here. We were talking about how when the shit hits the fan, and we're trying to just survive, with food and so forth. And she has this pet dog, and she's concerned about what's going to happen to this pet dog when she gets raptured. Who's going to take care of her doggy? And he surprised me. He turned to her and said, "Don't worry about your dog. He's going to become someone's dinner."
That's not a nice thing to say.
And they just recently married. I was happy to
but it's not a nice thing.
But it's a thought. When it comes down to it, and you're starving, and you got a family to feed, and here you are looking at, we have 7 cats in our house. It would take a lot for me to get to a point where I would eat one of my cats. But I had this really weird dream last night. Well, first of all, we had this major storm come through Lancaster County last night. I don't know if you got it, Michael, but it was huge. I mean, I thought the world was coming to an end with the thunder and the lightning and the heavy rain and the strong winds. But I had this weird dream. That I'm in this car and we're driving down this road and it's in the wooded area, and we come across this construction area, and here's this dog, and it's smushed into the gravel of this road, almost like he got ran over while they were paving the road. But the dog was still alive, okay, and I wanted to stop to try and see if I could save it, and I saw these little birdies fluttering around his head. And I thought, well, that's cute. These birds are trying to help him. And the next thing you know, that the dog who's smushed into the gravel grabs one of the birds and eats it. And I'm thinking to myself, is this some way of my mind telling me that, when the shit hits the road, we're going to be eating our pets? It's like, wow. I mean, and it was so realistic.
Well, frequency and vibrations will set a mind pattern to open up. We don't understand the mind enough as to how it works or what its capabilities truly are. We only see what we allow ourselves to think we see and understand. But every time you close your eyes, there are things that happen that you don't remember, you do remember, or you experience that could just be, in fact, part of how the system of the energies of Mother Earth entangles with us as humanity. And what does human mean? It means animal. So we come to this planet in a way, or we develop somehow on this planet, whether it's through the book of Adam and Eve. I would suggest everybody read that if you want to really know about some of the facts of what the end days stand for, that was actually classified and then declassified, and most of the pages redacted and moved out. But it's a dog eat dog world, right? Am I right? I mean, think about all these components of how it works. But humanity had to figure out how to exist, how to suffer. If in fact it's true that the gods just left, abandoned us, they got everything we needed to do. We are a prison planet. And how has that never been not true? I mean, our lives have never been easy. There's always been demands on us on every level. It doesn't matter if it's in religion or in a love relationship. Demands. It demands work, and people don't agree to demands or demanding. It just makes the opposition even worse against one another. That's the part of the divide. And divide is set up to conflict within every part of it, any subject matter. But while you're doing this, whether you want to call it a dream state or astro projecting, I think these are parts of learning hints and answers to what if or what is or what could have been or what could be now. And gravitate from that, because maybe there was something more important than what you saw there. And the fact that I'm not saying that this is factually true, but the fact when the birds were trying to do something, spiritually or in some manner, and the dog reached up, my only survival will be is if I eat one of you. So the dog's thinking about his survival. And that's how we will have to look at our survival. And that's how man has always looked at survival. Now, that's just my theoretical thought on that scenario.
No, if you want to,
if you want to talk about theories of the most brilliant minds on the planet, I can go there too, and try to debunk some of the fascinating work that they did, because I'm looking at it from a different viewpoint. So that viewpoint is connected to other people's viewpoints that don't always, coordinate together. But again, if it's thought out right and presented properly, you can change people's mind thoughts. And I think your dreams of what you went through, your frequencies went off the chart. There's a sense of fear in weather. I don't care, even with me. I mean, you're thinking, oh, don't let that tree fall on my house. Don't, you know what I mean? You worry. Things start to take place. Your energy field and your endorphins start to explode. And I think that sets us up for what we experience in many ways.
Yeah, I actually, as the storm was hitting, my wife and I sleep in separate bedrooms because of her asthma, and we have these cats. Go figure. But even though she was only maybe 10 feet away from my door, she keeps her door shut to keep the cats out. I actually felt I needed to get up and go check on her and to make sure she was okay. And she was scared. I mean, she was in a different part of the house and separated from the rest. And the thunder and lightning had her scared. So she and I went into the office and we sat in front of my beautiful dual monitors and we watched TV for a while. I felt compared. Oh my God. I felt compelled to go to make sure my wife was safe from the storm. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but that's that's the way my mind worked.
Well, I think we always do the same. So, you did the right thing.
Yep. Yep.
So, what's new in? I know you have those 15-minute cities still going on. Are they finished?
No, they need 4 more years to get that completed itself. As a matter of fact, they just started breaking ground across the river from me in the last week. What exactly that means, I don't know. I can see it, I can observe it, I can hear things, but I know it's underway. I also know that grounds that you would like to buy, or people, let's just say some people that like to do investments in buildings and things like that, are now being isolated to only be allowable to sell to certain organizations. So it's going to be a pattern of 500 homes in 500 days, but we're looking across America and we're seeing the number now being racked up to like 3 million homes in 4 years. Well, yeah, you're going to have to house these people you're bringing in somehow and try to take care of the ones that are already here that can't survive either because of the policies that have taken place and more. But yeah, I'll just say this. Go ahead.
So why are we building these homes so close to other towns and cities? We got all that land out west. Why don't we just cut a portion of our country out, say this is going to be Muslim land, and build the houses there?
Well, they got to start with the gems. You know what I mean? Where they're strongest at, what they control most of. Pennsylvania is one of them, of course. And why do I say that? Look what they did to the election. They proved their point. And they're going to reward the systems within the systems to give work to the areas that did the most for them. They do pay back, but there'll be a point in time when that payback won't even matter, and people will regret the fact that they ever helped these people because they will be lost and forgotten as well. But as long as the narrative works, in my mind, how I see it, for them in the moment, they take advantage of that moment. They just do.
So, Dave, you haven't said too much. Get into this conversation.
I'm having a good time listening and making notes, and
there you go. Make notes, brother,
and being ready for future broadcasts. A lot of things to look up. I enjoy listening, being the moderator when I have to lately, which isn't always that much. Of course, popping in and dropping in a bubble of mine every once in a while, and then sending it back to everybody else. Jonathan Thomas, who is a independent political party candidate for president, the American Political Party, which you can see here on Facebook, says 99% weren't part of the conflict that got us to this point. The division is the creation of the Epstein group, and the way things are, bad guys always win. I don't know how either one of you feel about that. I'll throw that at you. I don't think we're ever going to hear anything else about the Epstein group, as Jonathan puts it, only because so much of them on both sides. And I have to say it's Republicans, it's Democrats. If the American Political Party had people in Washington, D.C. right now, it would probably be part of them too. And we're never going to hear anything in that regard anymore because they are all involved in it and they control that narrative. Just like, Randy, I wanted to say it's the same thing with the 15-minute city talking again. There was a time when I would read about 15-minute cities and go, well, this is actually a pretty good idea in moving us into the future, then kind of sitting back and taking a look and writing something else and reading my notes again and going, this is just American Nazi concentration camps. and go in that direction. And you hear Michael laughing in the background, and that's only because I'd want to throw at Michael is I think we're beyond the point of American concentration camps in America again, because it would tie up too much land. There wouldn't be any need for it. Just bring us all, line us up at the justice tree and do whatever you're going to do with us, only because they want that land to build their 15-minute city for all of the people that follow their, as far as I'm concerned, deranged thought pattern. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, let's start with this. Left, right, left. Do you remember the military? Left, left, right, left.
Yeah.
Okay, now keep that as in place, and let me create the illusional effect of the illusion. If you create the illusion and you create the perspective, then you win most of the confrontation. So what Jonathan Thomas has suggested is, in fact, part of that. It's not that we have rhinos. We have left, cult, right. Left, cult, right. So look into the research of what the true words were once upon a time. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. But it opens one's mind up as to why the illusion of everything had to be placed a certain way. And of course, it goes back to that group, the solidarity, and more, and how they, instituted all the plans of how the narrative would work and be delivered, and they used the longest game possible to do it. So everything was done in trickle-down pieces and trickle-down policies and hidden agendas on page 2560 that people only had 80 minutes to prepare for and debate over, and couldn't even get into the first chapter of the dialogue of what the left, right, was doing. So where is the strength in America, and why? When he says the battle, does the good will prevail? Yes, we understand that. But the bad is just as worse. So in the time, these people understood that most of us would stand back and respect everything, including people's lives, while they took them. And that's how the handbook was written, in many ways. So, you can take it for what it's worth, but we are dealing with cultism. And that is the foundation of what America really is right now. And Donald Trump doesn't come exactly out and say it, but he gives you every indication, like New Scum. He is now starting to express a little different pattern of a demeanor to try to indicate where and who the fingers need to be pointed at, what their accomplishments were, and what the tragedies within their accomplishments were. So again, it's a lot to think about, and it's hard to take all the information and guide yourself through it. And I think the only thing I could say at any point anymore is everybody must really look beyond the scope of the reality and open their minds to the possibilities of some of these things that the best in the world who were opened these doors for many of us have set forth, because it's a generation lost and gone, and most of them, 90% of them, were all insiders watching these dictations of this plan being set up upon the American people, and not just American people, but every country on the planet. America was just the evil that led us to all the other countries for their minerals, for their gold, for their power, for their, for their support as the strongest country network in the world. And it was all led by evilness and cultism. And if you didn't sign on to them, they would destroy you or take you out. And we've watched many examples that happen just in the last 4 years. If a president of a country says, I'm not down with that, 2-3 days later, we were hearing that they were taken out. But guess what? So here, all we can do as, a civilization of brilliancy, because we are more brilliant than what many people give us ever credit for, and stay strong and try to not get on the fence of any one side, but to pick it and stay strong in there because that's your belief. And if it comes out wrong, you'll learn from that lesson. And when we learn from lessons, we make corrections. Not all of us in this lifetime will understand our faults until we come back again to do it over.
Yep. Now, Jane O'Malley, who watches a lot, usually the podcast because she's working in the morning and can't catch it, brought up a statement a minute ago. I'm sure you already know this, but Chicago is now a major hub in human and sex trafficking with the Venezuelan gangs that have invaded our country. And look where the DNC is being held. The Democratic National Convention opens tonight through the 21st in Chicago. And Jane opens up questions in my head, Michael and or Randy, either one of you can comment. Any chance that they could just, this is the moment they're going to lower the boom on us because it's their convention? And like Jane said, they're in Chicagoland and they screwed up Chicagoland for the rest of the country, and they go into Chicagoland and unleash holy democraticism on us, or whatever you want to call it. Either one of you can take the answer. The best thing that I enjoy about doing these broadcasts is when people drop these pearls of wisdom that get my head going, aren't you thinking about that? And that's exactly what Jane did right there. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, she's not wrong, but it's like I brought up. In my state, it's 2 cities, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, where we had the same type of catastrophic problems, one not as bad as the other, but Chicago was another landmark of this issue. And where did walls come from? Same scenario. So they will use these pinpoints, these synchronicities, because they lined up for them, because they feel safest where the evil domains are. And I would say there's a lot of truth behind what is going on through these people that are now here doing nefarious things. Some people call them, what was the coyotes? They just entangled them closer into a spot to make them more active. And when people say, well, our money's going to become no good, we will become, and we already are, a USA Venezuela. There's no doubt about it. But they just can't crush the dollar. They just can't kill it because they have nothing else set up in place to keep this level of their reality moving forth, because it takes money to keep this function going. And without money and us having nothing new to go step into, then, they will fail. So everybody's money is still good, even though the dollar is worthless. But we do live every day in an existence and an economy that shows how and why what I just said is factually true. But again, I'll just say, I agree on Chicago. I agree when the Google-eyed mayor was there. It didn't want to accept any help. It could have had all the help in the world, but they wanted Trump kept out. And Trump, respectfully, as a president, can only offer the help, but can only come in when it's asked. And he respected the Constitution and all the declarations that we have, and he stood behind them. He didn't agree with what they did. He didn't agree with the fact that, they refused him. But, Pelosi also refused to help on January 6th. That could have prevented a lot of things from happening. So, we see how the narrative pans out, how it works. You have California, you have Chicago, you have Pennsylvania, you have Philadelphia, you have Minnesota. I mean, look, this is going to be their focal points of how they collect data points through the electoral.
Yeah. Now, Pelosi and January 6th always comes to mind because didn't she basically not do anything to prevent it, and then later, more recently, hint around maybe off the record when she didn't realize that there was a mic in the booze bottle, or someone had a phone recording that she basically admitted involvement in this, and was she so strong if she actually did this that she just thought we would never come after her if that statement is true? If she was one of the key factors, we just won't come after her because she's Nancy Pelosi. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, no, I hear. I'm going to just be real quick with this and let Randy have some time. My God, she thinks she's bigger than God. Her system is bigger than God. They do believe that, and that's what they push through Hollywood, through the music industry, through government dictation of policy, and she's not afraid to open her mouth and even admit to the wrongdoing. And we've seen it. And what has happened to her from it? And I mean, really, what has happened to any of them up to this point from it? So,
yeah, go ahead.
That's all I need to say. I think that just justifies it all.
They've gotten stronger. Is it actually the fruition of what I used to call the Rhodes Doctrine? They told us when they were going to do it, how they were going to do it, all the other do it, and then they just did it and sat back and watched and said, "You stupid Republicans, we did it."
Yeah, we told you so. That's where the famous saying is, "We told you so," and that's how they narrate it. The suggestion of thought, the power of words, and how powerful words really can be, and deceptive. You can read one law, but it reflects to others, and then you have to look at their precedents or their case court documentations for these things. And I told you so. And they walk away, saying it all the way to the bank, making their next new investment for what they're about to do next, and filling their pockets even more. And you don't fill pockets in a country that has no money with a dollar that's worthless if it doesn't have some type of positive outcome. So this is why I say and push to everybody, as bad as we are, they just cannot take the dollar away. There's nothing in place to replace it. And if they were to crush humanity right now and we had no money to eat with, they would lose every ounce of energy and productivity that they put together, even though it's being nefarious. They would lose all the credibility.
But didn't they think at some point maybe some of us would wake up and realize this isn't how it's supposed to be? Hopefully get it through the courts to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, of course, would say, "No, Nancy, you can't do this. Matter of fact, you're going to go to jail for 100 years." Although these days, you never know. It's like you never know what John Roberts is going to put through the Supreme Court one day, and or how he's going to feel an hour later when he's looking at the next Nancy Pelosi case.
Let Randy have it.
Okay, go ahead, Randy.
The Supreme Court is just another tool that the Democrats have in their pockets. I think when Trump was able to appoint 3 justices, he thought that he was setting the future for any help that the Republicans would need. These judges would stand up on the side of conservatism and religion. And so far, they have not been proven to be the help that Trump thought he needed. I mean, when they first went to the Supreme Court justice about the elections being stolen and how they could have reversed everything 3.5 years ago, they decided to table it. And only now are they starting to say, you are right. They did, do this in the state. They did this in the state. And, but the only reason why they're starting to turn is because the election's coming up and they're afraid that Trump's going to come in the office. And all the Democrats right now are going to do everything they can. You watch. They're going to do all kinds of weird shit, things that we never thought they're going to do, because it's coming down to the last few weeks of them being in power as to what they're thinking they're going to be in power, and they're afraid that once Trump gets in office, they're all going to prison. Um, Again, I don't think he's going to make it there, but that's my personal belief. So anything the Democrats do, they're going to do it out of fear of losing control of the Supreme Court, because if Trump gets in, he'll have the ability to put in another judge. He'll have the ability to put judges in across the states of the country, and he's going to be able to fire everybody he wants to. They're running scared right now, and they're going to do everything possible to stay in power. You just watch it; it's going to happen.
And I would agree with that. Just for a quick second, I talked about this years ago when we went through the first 2020 scenario. These people are not going to put out their hands easily to say, okay, you got me, handcuff me, you know everything. So what I would say about the Supreme Court justice is this: what part exactly of the checkmate are we in, and on what level? Why did it take so long, and why now? I think it's another part that is of a certain guidance that is coming out where one side's battling the other for integrity and transparency. And of course, you have ones that look at it and demonize and, go a different direction. But again, everything seems to be a check and mate without a dot. And the moves continue that way. Is it just synchronicity? I don't know. I don't think any of us do. But you're right. All the actions that they have taken is to put them into a higher state of possibilities when it comes to the winning. And yeah, we could see anything. Believe in the unbelievable.
Yes, well, I have got to cut out here. I got take care of my clients here. But it's been great. It's just good that Michael, you're able to join us today. I'm glad that Dave figured out what's going on with his computers. So
that's just tired. It's just tired. But I'm glad you were here, Randy. I'm glad Michael was here. Randy, take 30 seconds or a minute and plug the genealogy stuff. Then I want to give Michael a chance to plug his page and what he may be doing next as well. But go ahead, Randy.
Well, at this point, I did pick up another client, so I am booked. I have 7 clients, and that's where I keep it, because each client gets 2 to 3 hours of my time a day, and that doesn't allow for a lot of time. And sometimes you get less. And I hate to say, but like right now, while I was here talking to you guys, I was working on the side here, and you hit that one client who all of a sudden has all these royals. And you got to get the royals added in. So right now, schedule-wise, I'm booked, so I'm not looking to bring in anybody new. But what I am doing and have been doing is my Sunday broadcast called On the Roads to Discovering Your Ancestors. And that's just trying, taking someone interesting and doing a short biography of them. This last one was about Captain Watley, who was Shane Melvin's ancestor, who fought and died at the Battle of Antietam. But before that, he was at 10 other battles. If people have, at this point, if anyone watching has a particular person they want me to do a study on, I'd be more than happy to do a study and then make it a broadcast, and then you guys enjoy it. I actually did have the most people viewing live yesterday than I ever had before. So I'm not sure what happened yesterday, but actually like 10 people watched at the same time. I like to try and get the numbers up, because I do put a lot of time, a lot of effort into everything I do, just like Michael does. But I'm the kind of guy that needs, affirmation. So if I see, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 people who watched it, it makes me feel good. Like it makes me feel like I actually accomplished something. But that's where I'm at.
Awesome. All right, Michael, you got some closing thoughts that you can tell us?
Yeah, I'm happy if one air hears me, and I don't have any other way to say it because the issue's so big, and I want to give support to people the best way I can. I don't want to be special in any way. I know some days are going to be better than others. We'll be looked at stronger when people have time to look at us. Everything comes through good workmanship and positivity, within yourself. So the best thing I can say to anybody is, stay strong, fight for your beliefs, and don't let anybody narrate you. That's just
Yep.
another system of control. Thanks for
Okay.
having me, guys.
Yep.
It was fun.
Don't leave yet. I got one last thing to say to you, Michael.
Oh my God, what did I do now?
You didn't do anything bad. You said you're happy if one set of ears happens to hear you. Well, that's two ears. According to the latest look at the number of people watching us, there are 206 people watching, which means that there are 412 ears listening to us right now.
Cool.
Yeah. And whatever that means to you,
It just means that people are listening.
No,
Go ahead,
I get it. I get it. I get why you've done all of this. I get why we all have done it. But again, it's just as satisfaction to me. It's a just satisfaction. What's the word I really want to use? Anyway, I'll skip over that because I can't think of it right now. I'm going through my brain fart system here. But anyway, it's just that we all need to concentrate on our strengths. And
Right.
our family, and keep the love out there. It's going to take every man, woman, and child, as I say. But it's a very important statement, probably one of the most important ones out there that I'll ever make. This is our time, and I get that Randy's on a different side of thought. But you know what? We're all going to be within it. The nice part is we were able to talk about things and be productive, and I think we were. And
Yep.
if just one person goes out and votes for Trump today, even though 206 watched, and we congregated only one, we did something, and
We
that's
did.
what's most important. All right,
We
I'm going to
did.
get out of here, guys. Have fun. I'm out of
All right,
brain thought.
Michael. Okay, be careful working today. Be careful building on low brain thoughts.
Yeah. Later, guys.
All right, Michael, always a pleasure. Michael Anthony, Studio 10 Broadcasting, 10 o'clock talks. You see him all over Facebook on his Michael Anthony page. Make sure you go and become his friend. You will see his thoughts. I wanted to call them words of wisdom, but I didn't want to get him jumping on me. But you see his black box comments in the Facebook news feed. Read them. If you like it, share it, and comment on it that you agree or disagree with him, because he's usually open-minded and will hear what you have to say. Randy, you're right.
Yeah, I have
It
one
was
last.
actually a pleasure putting him and you together, and
Yeah.
I didn't actually have to yell at anybody this
There you
morning.
go. Yeah, it's just-
Very good.
I have one last comment. My
Okay.
wife. These are my wife's headset, and she thinks I should get a different color because this is a feminine headset. So, folks, if you are watching, should I change out the headset?
Let us know if Randy Rhodes should change the color of his headset. To be honest with you, I don't think most people care. I do notice that I'm going to look at, it'll be a while before I get it, but a wireless version of like what Jen has, which has the mic right in front of your face, because if the mic is hanging right there, like where my pinky is right now, you wouldn't, I wouldn't have to scream as loud because the mic is right in front of my face.
But unfortunately, in her case, and in the comments, messenger, I'll message her sometimes with the microphone being that close to her mouth, you can hear her breathing, and but that's I have this now. See that I have that
Right.
from my. and a really, really nice Yeti microphone that my son got me for a birthday.
Yep.
This microphone is so damn sensitive that even with the door shut, my wife downstairs in the living room, this microphone will pick her up talking.
Oh yeah.
And so I told her that when I'm on broadcast, she has got to shut up.
I unfortunately cannot do that here where we are, and sometimes outside of Studio 6 or whatever I call it here, it's outside of this studio. I cannot control what happens outside of this studio. I can only control what happens in this studio.
There you go. That's all that matters.
From going outside. So sometimes you have to just like preset your mic levels before so that you hear you and you don't hear what's outside.
Preset your family's voice levels.
Preset your family's outside.
I got to go.
You want to do it? Okay, Randy did it. All roads lead to home genealogy services. Go to the Randy Rhodes Facebook page and get all the information that you can. Like you said, he is full right now, but if you have a question, he may answer it. And who knows, if you give him a good question, he might add another customer. The man lives, breathes, sleeps, eats, drinks, and believe it or not, goes to the restroom thinking genealogy. And if you ask him, he will go and try to find it. Has access to all of the best databases that the larger unknown genealogists have. And he will just do his best to find you everything that he can. And a lot of it is good stuff, and some of it's even entertaining, and he'll make a broadcast out of it and share your stuff if you're willing to let him do that. And that's about all I can say on that. Michael Anthony, like I said, just watch him, read him in the Facebook news feed, watch him when you can, and make your comments. And everybody will be happy. A great show. Like I said to Michael, I made a lot of notes today, things that I have to follow up on. We have one of those super duper real cool mics as well. I can't get it onto the screen right now, but my white snowball in the next studio desk setup, I'm going to probably take it off the boom arm unless I get a different piece of furniture and I can mount it on the boom arm and get it in a little bit closer. That's probably what I'll do. But I also have a desk stand for it. But anyway, more about that in the coming weeks. Right now, we deal with what we have. Very happy 206 people watched. Hopefully, some of you will share it to groups on Facebook that you want to see it on. If any of you ever go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, you can watch it there. You can be in the live chat over there. You can share it from the YouTube channel to anywhere off of Facebook that you might want to share it to. I'm not going to get into the same discussion. We're going to do Rumble one of these days. We're going to do this one of these days. We're going to do that. The only thing we do have to do is at some point between now and October, we have to replace the Chromebook with either a new Chromebook, or a Windows 10 laptop. Haven't decided. They both are pretty much pieces of junk to me the same way. Anyway, that is all I have to say on that. So this is the part of the program where I tell the 206 of you have been watching Boogie with the Bull Uncensored Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. If you want to use anything that was in this program, please go ahead and do so. But if you're going to get on my case for saying I did something wrong, at least bring me onto your broadcast and let me be there so I can defend myself. America works because everybody is allowed to have a point of view. We do not all have to agree on anything in life. Who is going to win the next presidential election, who is going to become the next president, who is going to do this, who's going to do that. The important thing as far as I am concerned is I don't care what party you are registered in, be in a party, register, and vote. And if you don't want to be in a party, you can register declined to mention in some states or independent in some states, and you don't name a party, and at least in the general November 5th election, you are able to vote. As my father used to tell my brother all the time, God rest my father's soul, if you don't vote, you can't bitch. And I took it one better. If you don't vote, you can't bitch, but if you bitch, it doesn't matter because your one bitch could have been the one vote that got elected whoever you wanted to get elected. So make sure you're registered to vote and you vote. If you need help getting to the polls on the day you are supposed to vote or during open voting, early voting in your state, I'm sure if you check around, there are cab services and or friends that will help you get there. The cab services usually do it free of charge. Uber usually does it free of charge on November 5th. They will get you to the polls and get you back to your home or wherever you were before you voted. So you can go to uber.com and get more information on that. You can also probably go to your registrar of voters in your city and or county and or state and see if they can help you with information on how to get to the polls if you are handicapped or disabled or both and not able to get there. My son has already told me, our oldest son who we live with has already told me that he will make sure I get there when he goes to vote. So that's fine with me. Vote once. Make sure you look at the ballot before you vote. If there's any kind of marking on it before you vote, take it back to the person or refuse to take it and ask for a new ballot. You have permission to do this. God said that if you find any markings on your ballot before you vote, you have his permission to go up and ask for a new ballot that does not have any ballots on it. And that's because the voting machines or the human counters can declare your ballot inactive, can't be counted, invalid, and cannot be counted if it has markings on it that don't belong on it. So at least do that. Anyway, it's time to wrap it up. We're coming up on 11:30, which is what I wanted to end us on this morning. The next Boogie with a Bull broadcast is tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 p.m. to about 8:30 p.m. Jen Woodruff, usually Randy Rhodes, myself, sometimes Michael Anthony, and anybody else who wants to come in, up to a total of 8 of us. So it's me and 7 other people can be on the broadcast. And if we actually had 8 people on the broadcast, we might actually blow up the Chromebook right then and there. So if you want to see that happen, watch tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Randy Rhodes and I come back 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. The whole gang comes back at 7 p.m. Thursday evening, and Friday morning at 10 a.m. it's Red Friday with my good friend Bill Muckler and I. And usually a lot of information comes out at one point. You're welcome to make comments and question Bill on anything that you hear during the broadcast. And Bill and I just have a whole lot of fun doing it. He just turned 89 years old. He's a retired Marine captain. He's a respected author, wrote the 2020 books, 2020 A Clear Vision for America, 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future. That hardbound set is $25. Go to the Bill Muckler profile and message him if you are interested. Also, the novel 6 Soft Targets, the black and white book with the big white 6 on it, the softbound book. His idea of what the blueprint for 9/11 was all about is currently available. That's a $20 donation. Both books, the 2020 books and 6 Soft Targets. The price of the book, the $25 or the $20, includes shipping and handling, postage, whatever you want to call it. And also, your books are personally noted from Bill. I don't like to use the word autograph. Personally noted from Bill. And if you're interested, like I said, go to Bill's Facebook profile and seriously think about it. Thanks to Jane O'Malley. It's always fun to have you here when you can be here. She said she was off working this morning, so it's always fun to have Jane here rolling up. Bill Reese, who at one time was the god, as far as I know, of messenger group chats downstairs on Facebook Messenger. So if you're interested in either starting one or getting into one for any belief that you have on Facebook, you might want to befriend Bill Reese and talk to Bill. Danny Campbell was here. Danny Campbell has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts in the entire 5.5-year history of Boogie with the Bull, including me, the Bull himself. Danny slipped in there somewhere. Jonathan Thomas, who is the American Political Party's presidential candidate. Jonathan Thomas has a website here, a Facebook page, and the American Political Party has a page here on Facebook as well. Go and read them, question anything that you want to question about them, and I'm sure Jonathan will be more than happy to answer. We have invited him to come on to the broadcasts, and I know that the 10 a.m. broadcasts are not usually good for him, so maybe we'll get him on one of the Tuesday, Thursday night broadcasts soon. Blaine Cooper watched, and Chuck Cook always watches, and I think we just about covered everybody. If I didn't cover, it's because I didn't know that you were watching. If you watch on Facebook, the only live chat we monitor is here on the Dave Globin profile. It doesn't mean you can't put a comment in a post of the broadcast in any of the 45 groups that we sent the broadcast to today. It means that I won't see your comment until I get notified that you left a comment in the group where we left that post. But if you want to be part of the most active live chat on any Boogie with the Bull broadcast, you want to watch on the Dave Globin profile or the Boogie with the Bull YouTube page. So we've told you that it's a copyrighted broadcast, and if you want to take anything from it, please do. Just make sure you don't make us look bad. If you are going to make us look bad, at least have the dignity to invite us onto your broadcast and make us look bad in person. I'm teasing, but at least invite us on. Anyway, it is now 11:32, and we have lots of things to do around here. I'm going to finish my breakfast, which was 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I have one left. Finish my coffee, take a patrol of all of the groups on Facebook that I am an admin in. All of mine, all of the ones that have graciously invited me to be a part of theirs. It's Monday, so it's time to catch the groups up from over the weekend. On Wednesday, I'll give you a list of all the groups that I am an admin in, including my groups, Randy Rhodes groups, Roland Hatton's groups, Art Sessa's group, and any other group that is on our family of groups. And then I will hopefully list as many of them as I can remember. The funny thing now is getting invitations to groups that I look at, and I go and I find out I'm already an admin and I'm not very active in those groups. I will try to get more active, and as I promised a lot of groups, helping the behind the scenes work, getting their groups all straightened out and ready for the November election. Anyway, double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast has come to an end. I hope we didn't get too loud. Again, when I wear my headphones, these only allow me to hear other people so that other people in the room don't have to listen to a broadcast other than hearing my voice. They don't allow me to hear myself, which is true broadcast quality headphones, so that I know whether or not I'm talking too loud, because they just muffle my ears. Anyway, a lot of activity going on here in beautiful Fleming Island, Florida. Go outside and enjoy the day. It looks kind of, last word, it looks, it's kind of a little cloudy out there, a little gray, but it doesn't look too bad. Go out there if you have to and make it a beautiful, 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 beautiful day. We'll see you on Facebook in the groups. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m., maybe somewhere before on someone else's broadcast. You never really know. Anyway, double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. One more time,